an affiliate link with them. It's really good coffee. Axios Fitness, code OGC. Make sure you're getting and staying fit so that you don't get sick as often. And when you do get sick, it doesn't take quite as long to get over. If I had taken that advice, I would not sound the way that I do. MS Vendrio, our tailor and haberdasher, the guy who makes all American suits so you can look your best and we can continue to be the best dressed people in the sphere. Make sure you check him out. He's doing a spring sale. You can get, I think it's 15% off suits and jackets, which is always helpful because when you're buying menswear of that quality, you're going to be spending some money. So check him out. And our good friend, Mr. George Bagby with Tall Men Books, where he's keeping alive all of those things that need to be kept alive in the American tradition. All of those books that fell out of print and fell out of circulation, but will really help you to understand why this country is worth fighting for. With that out of the way, we can move on to our first little bit of slop. This involves everyone's favorite organization next to the Anti-Defamation League, the Southern Poverty Law Center. I'm sure that everyone's heard about this, but the Justice Department is indicting the Southern Poverty Law Center for defrauding their donors. And allegedly, they were given about $3 million. They gave about $3 million of donated funds over the course of a decade to various white supremacist informants here and there. Do we have that list of the people that they were buying? Well, the list is out there. It's rather short. It's not really any organizations that any of us have heard of or really care about. Most of them are defunct now anyway. But of course, this is a good thing. It's always good when one of our enemies is targeted. However, the normicons and the low-level MAGA types are, of course, using this good thing and turning it into a bad thing. We all remember Fed jacketing, and now they're taking this very specific indictment where the SPLC, much like the FBI, and they work hand in hand often, so I wonder if this wasn't at the behest of the FBI. We may never know. But, they get themselves a couple of informants in this group, and the normicons and the low-level MAGA types, of course, are using this to proclaim that all groups looking out for looking out for heritage Americans or for whites in this country are actually astroturfed by our enemies, which of course is ridiculous, but that doesn't stop them from smearing the internet with this kind of stuff. Have you guys been seeing anything coming out of this one?
I mean, the best tweet I saw that was about it is essentially saying, "Oh, look, the boomer critique of groups that are, organized and not filled with obese people who can't put on a suit and tie and can't dress well. Like, oh, those people apparently are all feds. So it's just ridiculous. Like, this is a completely ridiculous assertion, and yeah, like none of these fucking organizations I've ever heard of them. This is ridiculous.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, National Alliance was William Luther Pierce's thing, right?
Is that guy still alive?
No, he's dead for like 20 years or something, and that thing has been defunct for a long time.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to have died in 2002 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, several of the people who led the organizations that are on this list have been dead for quite some time. But again, this is also being used to, suggest that Unite the Right was itself an SPLC, operation, which on its face is absolutely absurd. There's always going to be informants in anything, any group taking any sort of political action is going to have somebody in there that's working for some kind of, intelligence agency or somebody who's interested in it, especially if they're gaining any traction. But to Fed jacket everybody again, like what is it, 2017 all over again? Everybody who's not sitting at home trusting the plan is a federal informant.
Like a good friend of ours always says, somebody should do something. Oh, not so fast. That makes you a Fed if you want to do something in real life.
Yeah.
Somebody
should do something. No, not like that.
No, not like that. But yeah, so it admits that only one Unite the Right guy was apparently paid by the SPLC. And I think that really puts a poison pill in the rest of it, because it was a totally organic event organized by many different groups. Tons of individuals showed up. And wow, we have one confirmed SPLC funded, informant that doesn't delegitimize anything else about it.
Do we have the name of who that person was? Would he be known to anybody who's like, to anyone in the audience? Would he be like a household name at all, or is he just like a rando basically?
I actually don't know. Do you know, Harvey?
No, I think he's still unnamed at this point. Must be a nobody if we haven't found out who it is by now. But other than that, I was seeing tons of memes on Twitter about this, like, KKK, you mean the SPLC funded hate group? Like those were pretty funny.
Yeah, here's Lara Logan. What is that? Some retarded name, retarded way of spelling Laura. Yeah. Thoroughly beclowning herself. Who are these Nazis? I don't remember the SPLC leadership being loaded with people of Germanic last names, but
there's probably some Germanic sounding last names there. Not me, not you.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. A lot of Steens and Bergs. But no, I mean, this is, lest we forget, I know that Charlottesville is ancient history now, since it happened more than 5 seconds ago. I'm surprised to know that there's anyone besides us who was alive during that time.
Yeah.
But it originally started as a protest against the removal of Confederate statues in Charlottesville.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 9-year anniversary of that event. I wonder if we could do a recap stream, perhaps in the future.
Perhaps. I mean, I remember watching when YouTube still allowed such things. There was a 3.5 hour, full footage, like stream post basically that somebody would put on there. Like, you used to be able to do this, right? That whole era when you had like the Berkeley riots and all of the other with Identity Europa and all of those other semi-related groups to Unite the Right and all of that. Just all of that was a particular time, but you used to be able to see the footage, right? The full uncut footage of what was happening. And if you watch the full uncut footage and you the next day log into your computer or whatever and see the headline, you'd be like, hey, wait a minute. Like that's not precisely how it went down. And you could see this was like when this was one of your first red pills, essentially. For people who might have been skeptical, who wanted to stick their toe in the water, but who are like, oh, well, I don't want to go to any rallies or nothing, or I'm not really political, but would like immigration to be lowered for rational reasons. This is one of those things where you're like, okay, I can see culturally there's a reason for this event having to happen. And you might not be optical, but you're serving a similar goal set. And so, of course, like, this was an incredibly important event at the time.
It was indeed. It was eye-opening and motivation for, I think, a lot of us to start getting involved, but doing so in the more, discreet and OPSEC secure way than before.
Yeah, and as our friend Sandbatch pointed out, Unite the Right was used as the narrative device. What was the narrative device that Joe Biden gave for the reason he decided to throw his hat into the presidential ring for 2020?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that connection. Yeah. Biden's whole campaign was like launched on this thing. Yeah. And just to give a quick recap of the event, it took place in Charlottesville, Virginia. They were protesting the Lee statue being taken down by the city. Some things went wrong. The police allowed Antifa to encroach upon the protest area and confront the Unite the Right protesters. There they are. Physical altercations started to happen. The police declared it unlawful assembly and started breaking things up. And this poor kid, James Fields, gets in his car, has a rifle, an AR-15, pointed at him by I think it's a University of North Carolina Antifa professor. And he's on video admitting that he did this.
I mean, he's positively bragging about it.
Yeah, bragging that he pointed a rifle at this kid who was trying to drive away from the scene, James Fields, and he gets scared, accelerates into a crowd of people, unfortunately, and then, if you see a picture of the impact site, there's a random obese lady, several feet away from getting hit by the car directly, but she gets pushed down by the crowd getting out of the way of the car, has a heart attack and dies. And her name was Heather something.
Yeah, and there in the aftermath, we had such neocon gems as Will Chamberlain and Jack Posobiec
Yes.
putting together fundraisers to help fight white supremacy. So once again, the refrain, the neocons are the enemy, the conservatives are the enemy. It can't be repeated enough. And none of this is new. They've been displaying this for how long? You said 9 years?
Yeah, it's something I think about relatively often. I mean, it happened in my state of Virginia, and the future goal of any truly based administration would be to get James Fields out of prison day one. He's currently serving 400 years plus a consecutive life sentence for the manslaughter of that Heather obese lady. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite perverse, but I do remember.
Was it Heather Heyer?
Yeah, there you go.
I do remember the videos of her being pulled away on the stretcher, and it was like
they needed 5 people to lift her into the ambulance.
Yeah, it was like a pregnant sow slopping around. I mean, again, I shouldn't be speaking ill of the dead, but it was quite disgusting.
Yes, it was.
But I mean, for a recap stream, that might be worthwhile because there was a lot of weird stuff that went on at that rally, including, and I remember this getting swept away pretty quickly after the event, but without reason and without comment, one of I believe it was a police helicopter just crashed that had been filming the goings on.
Yeah. And 2 officers died as well. Yeah, in that crash, I think.
That's
I recall that as well. Yeah, there was so many strange events happening around that time, and specifically that during the events of that rally.
Well, either way,
I think about our fallen and forgotten comrades all the time, and James Fields at the top of my list to bail out.
Yeah, his sentence is it's a miscarriage of justice if there ever was one. But bring it back to the main topic, like them going after the SPLC now seems a little. I mean, it's good. It's good that it's happening, but this is a lawsuit being filed, and we're not going to see anything come from this for quite a while, if anything comes from it at all. My prediction is that at best we're going to get the SPLC having to pay some fines, and no one's really going to be held accountable. So this might just be another incidence of kabuki theater, and then we get the neocons and the GOP to be able to do their Fed jacketing without actually getting any justice for this.
Yeah, I really hope you're wrong about that, but the way things have been going, I suspect that you're right. I would prefer, obviously, the SPLC and all related, you know, investigative nonprofits like ADL, etc., to be totally dismantled. They're people just trumped up charges, lock them up, get them out of here. But no, we don't live in based world, so it's
Not yet.
quite possible they just get a. Oh yes. It's quite possible they just get a slap on the wrist, and the SPLC could continue to exist as an entity and resume their activities beyond this, and that would really suck. And like you said, it has the secondary fallout effect of, like, giving ammunition to all these neocons to Fed jacket the rest of us. Anybody to the right of Daily Wire is now a Fed. Sorry to take up the time.
I mean, you're not wrong there. That's an accurate statement, because on Twitter one sees the state of the discourse, and with the goings on in Iran, and you're like, hold on a second, we've reverted our politics back to 2015. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, nothing has really changed that much. Yeah, here's a tweet from Will Chamberlain, taking a stand against the alt-right by giving money to Antifa, and he's also taking a stand against Antifa by doing this somehow. But Will Chamberlain having a constant ordeal of civility over here. So, but speaking of Virginia, we're going over to the next big slop story of the week, the referendum to redistrict Virginia. And we've gone over this before when this horror show got started after Spanberger, quote unquote, won her election. But Harvey, take us away.
Yes, well, we had quite the eventful week in Virginia, and like NotMeNotYou just said, we had a vote on Tuesday. This redistricting vote was announced on the ballot of last year's gubernatorial election. So this is like a follow-up to that. And yeah, Spanberger is a deeply unpopular governor. I think she's already the most hated governor in the history of Virginia, which is quite something for being the first woman as well. So kudos to her on that. She's speed running everything she can. She's really, she ran as a quote unquote moderate Democrat. And then because Democrats actually know how power works, as soon as she got into office, started passing every law that she can. And we had that wonderful candidate, Winsome Earl Sears, who's a Jamaican immigrant, as the Republican candidate, who lost handily, lost by 15 points, which is just insane. And so that, going into this, understand that the establishment looks at the numbers of the previous election, thinks, oh, Virginia's a lost cause, and did not really support us in the way that we needed to win this referendum. So before we go any further, let's read the text and see what the people were voting for. Should the Constitution of Virginia be amended to allow the General Assembly to temporarily adopt new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections, while ensuring Virginia's standard redistricting process resumes for all future redistricting after the 2030 census? So that's a lot of words. You can distill that down to, do you like fair elections, yes or no? Like, that's my theory of mind for what an average normie-con or just normal voter is going to walk into the poll, get handed this ballot. Yeah, I like fair elections. I'll vote yes. I can't even begin to estimate how many normie-cons voted the incorrect way on this one. So what is fairness? Well, it depends on who is interpreting fairness, right? And to the Democrats who proposed this constitutional amendment, they think it is fair to change the current congressional seat map from a 6-5 seats in their advantage to a 10-1 in their advantage. That would reduce it. The current map that just got changed was about as close to fair as you can get. We are a +5 Democrat state, and so they got 55% of the representation. And now they get I believe the math is 91% of the representation goes to 55% of the electorate, and the remaining 45% get 9% of the representation. So I think we just shot up to be the most gerrymandered state in the union, or one of the most, from one of the fairest, because the Democrats justify this by pointing out, the Texas redistricting efforts. The Republicans did gain a few seats there, and so they interpret it to be fair that they disenfranchise Republican voters in Western, especially the central and western half of Virginia, and take their seats for their side at the national level. This is for Congress.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Democrats play all over the country. They're going to try this again and again and again in every single state that they get power in. I mean, it's kind of boring at this point to talk about how the Dems are just power hungry, crazy people.
Yeah.
And I think crazy is actually the wrong word for it. I just think they're evil. They know that they're doing things specifically for the purposes of gaining more power, so that they can force their messed up worldview on everybody. But the Republicans also love this. They don't get it wrong in your head. The GOP and the neocons, they want exactly this to happen, because it means that they keep getting funding, they keep getting donors, and they can keep selling the lie that they're going to fight this progressive insanity.
Yeah, the GOP is extremely comfortable with losing, because that is what they are, the party of professional losers. Forcing them to be in the position of a governing authority is not where they want to be, because they don't want to have to do work or anything like that. So the vote passed. The margins were actually very close. It was 48% no. Yeah, there you go. So no, if we compare that to, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice already. We compare that to the previous gubernatorial election from last year's vote, where the Democrats won by 15 points. Now they have only won by 2 points in a state that is that went +5 for Kamala in 24. So with the proper funding, organization, strategy, manpower, etc., the GOP could have won this. They very much could have. Shout out to all the volunteer organizations that did what they could do on a shoestring budget with no support from the national GOP. They did the best they could, but it wasn't enough. If they had just given a modicum of more support, they could have pulled this off. And you see that shift in margin is actually crazy. So you could say the 25 election was a referendum on Trump, and people don't like Trump, so they voted highly in favor of the Democrats. But this election was kind of like a referendum on Spanberger herself, the governor of Virginia, and nobody likes her. And so it almost swung back completely the other way. I think Virginia is a winnable state, but it requires the will to do what is necessary to win.
Yeah, I mean, and dear listener, I hope that you understand this. When we're talking about the GOP and the neocons being the enemy and being the being the beautiful losers who want this kind of stuff to happen, what we're talking about are the leadership cast, the people who are in positions of power within the GOP, within the neocon apparatus. The individual voter, the guy who beats feet and goes out and door knocks and does the work, most of them, I think, truly believe that the Republicans are their best bet to get away from the insanity of the progressives. It's not pure cynicism and corruption top to bottom. It's pure cynicism and corruption at the top.
That's
And our
right.
system pretty much requires you to be a corrupt cynic in order to be at the top. So
Yeah, so to just to put a cap on the vote itself, so the vote went in favor of the Democrats. That is slated to be the new redistricting map. However, not so fast. This got sent to the Court of Virginia, the SCOVA, and I believe it was Tazewell County that filed this legal case against the redistricting effort. There were many, many procedural errors that the Democrats did in the lead up to this redistricting effort, and the legal arguments are going to be heard orally on Monday. So, there's still a significant chance that the courts will strike down this whole measure, and we'll go back to the previous redistricting map that was more fair. And
well,
they would have blown a lot of political capital to try to get this vote passed, and then just have it smacked down in front of them right at the finish line. That would be extremely satisfying to me.
well, we can certainly pray for that. I've not been super thrilled about the prospect of the judiciary making decisions anywhere in this country recently. So
that's my feeling as well. This is you could say the last chance we have at getting it revoked, but I pray for what's the saying? Prepare for hope for the best, pray for the prepare for the worst, and we're doing both here in Virginia right now. So
indeed, and to put a bow on the point we were making before about the GOP being corrupt and wanting this. This is a tweet from Turning Point Action discussing how Turning Point, to help assemble proposals to train Virginia and DC conservatives to help get out the vote for this, and they were turned down by GOP establishment. They wouldn't fund this this effort. So, unless you need any more proof that the GOP, the leadership of the GOP is your enemy, here it is.
Yeah.
But
I mean, whatever our feelings are on TP USA after Kirk's passing, they still remain a competent political force, and if they had been funded to come out and help, this vote would have gone the other way for certain. I have no doubt in my mind about that. So yeah, GOP establishment is your enemy.
So I mean, I know that this is. Mr. Producer, do we have anything about the mail-in voting in this one? So I had seen floating around that it was really the mail-in voting that carried this over the line, and at this point, there's no. I don't think any reasonable, honest thinking person believes that mail-in voting is anything other than voting fraud. We know how it works. Democrats send their operatives into these areas that don't vote. They harvest the ballots. They send them in on behalf of these people. This has been known for decades. It's nothing new. We saw it. The most obvious one was 2020, and so now it's just happening again. And of course, Senator Thune tells us that the SAVE Act, which would have prevented this, isn't on his list of priorities anymore. The American people don't want, robust in-person elections. They want more wars on the behest of Israel. So, continuing along with the main point, which I'm going to say until the GOP goes away, is that the GOP is the enemy, and GOP delenda est.
Yeah, and just to touch on that point you brought up, I don't believe it was mail-in fraud that put this over. Like, you saw the margins are insanely in our favor for the no vote. Even though there was some suspicious ballot dumping in Fairfax County throughout the night, they do have enough votes to win legitimately, and I believe that's what happened. But you got to keep in mind, the early voting in Virginia is possibly the most liberal out of any state in the country, you get 45 days of voting. 45. So they had plenty of time to harvest all the ballots that they could from all the immigrant communities and minorities and whatever. By the way, ballot harvesting is legal in Virginia, if you didn't know that. So yeah, they had plenty of time to do it the slow way, the legit way.
Even better.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous that we have these mail-in ballot schemes where it takes up to a month to figure out
Yeah.
the election results. It's just completely egregious.
Yeah,
But,
it
like-
really is. And I'm a firm believer of one day, one vote, one election. You know, you don't what was originally justified as like an exemption for military members to be able to participate in elections got expanded out to the entire electorate during COVID, right? And now we're still dealing with that 5 years later. So yeah,
I mean,
it really needs to be reined in severely. Like, I can't believe we still deal with this.
there are many third world countries on this earth that have more robust and safer elections than we do.
Yeah.
That can do same night results. And we're supposed to believe that us, with all of our advanced everything, aren't able to do that. Like, come on. It's just, it's one thing to be lied to, and it's one thing it's another thing to be told such an egregious lie that, I don't know, you kind of imagine that the people in charge are constantly telling themselves, like, there's no way they're going to believe this. There's no way they're going to continue to believe this. And yet, it just seems to be most people are just blissfully unaware. But this is something I wanted to say when we were talking about the phrasing of the motion. I mean, how feminized, right? Like, it's more fair. We got to make it more fair. We're going to make it fair for the election coming up. Like, guys, like, this is some egregious shit right here.
Very much so. And, there's, in the context of the state of Virginia, like, we already had a fair map. It was made by a bipartisan commission back in 2020. What they're doing is, defining fairness as, we have to stick it to the Texas Republicans that redistricted their state. So we can claim back House seats in Congress. Yeah, and there's our wonderful Senate President pro tempore of Virginia. And yeah, so there's a huge like ethnic grievance angle on this. Virginia's got a colorful history of that. So this is what she thinks about us. Just because the GOP is the enemy doesn't mean the Democrats are your friends. They both hate you.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the GOP just sees us as cash cows, but the Democrats are, and especially as this country becomes less and less white, it's just racial grievance. It's just stick it to whitey. These people will burn everything down if they think it hurts white people, and that's exactly what they're doing.
My favorite little touch on this image is the slogan at the bottom, "Virginia is for lovers." It's just so funny in this
Yes, it's
context.
a nice little bit of irony.
There you go.
All right. Well, across the getting outside of the United States, and this one for a little bit of levity, we can look across the pond to see how their ultra serious conservative party is doing. Of course, we're talking about Reform UK. This is Nigel Farage's little outfit, right? We're gonna save the UK from the insane Labour Party and the Tories who just want to bring in all these foreigners by staffing every position top to bottom with foreigners. And one of their most recent, what this minister or whatever this guy would be called, is named Topo Redsnewiro. How you guys want to take a stab at that?
There it is.
He literally is from Star Wars. Not only is he from Star Wars, but he's from the Star Wars cantina.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard his competition, Glop Shido, is putting on a great campaign, so we'll see.
Glosh.
God.
Yeah, so obviously things are going great across the pond here. Does anyone have a picture of what this guy actually looks like? Like, I know that this is the funny one, but you know, they literally have a Star Wars name on the ballot.
Oh,
This dude does look like Han Solo's main competition from like Mexico or something. I don't know where the crazy name comes from.
it's probably something George Lucas made up.
Well, with any luck, these guys are gonna help push Restore UK over the edge there. You know, I mean, as an aside, picking Restore UK as a name when Reform UK is already going, I mean, that the average voter is retarded. They're gonna get those confused, guys. Come on, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Well, from the Star Wars cantina,
Quintessentially British. What can we say? You know,
we can bring it back to our own increasingly cantinized country of the United States. If we remember Bovino, our friend, doing you know, trying to do the mass deportations, who has recently left the DHS, telling us that basically mass deportations aren't happening.
yep. Time for the black pill. I don't think there's any way around this. You know, we supposedly the border is shut down and no new arrivals are happening, and there's also been a trickle of self deportations. But what we needed, mass deportations, seems to be not really happening. I believe the totals right now are like 2 million people total have left the country. But we need 100 million, and that number comes from Bovino himself. So we're not on track to get anywhere close to that if the present course remains the same.
I mean, you had 30 million as, you know, the high end estimate in like 2017 from Ivy League schools saying this. I believe Yale had a study from that period, and that 30 million was the high number then, right? This is before the Biden push, you know, so it's easily 100 million people, easily.
Yeah, I believe it was either Harvard or Yale. One of the Ivy Leagues did a big
It was
study
Yale. Yeah, it wasn't Harvard, it was
using
Yale.
yeah, they were using phone data to try and estimate it. And that yeah, they hit on this number, and of course at least 20 million extra during Biden. Now, of course, the issue here isn't that deportation, like, all right, yeah, deportations were happening. Great. At some point, not doing what needs to be done or taking half measures is worse than taking no measures at all. Because when the Democrats come back in 28, you know, they're going to say, look, you know, we lost in 26, and there was a chance that mass deportations would happen. The Trump administration had that political capital. They didn't do it, thank God. But you know, we can never allow this to happen again, and they're just going to throw the borders open, and then it's just going to be off the table for generations. So I mean, this isn't to I mean, you know, this isn't to black pill. What it is to do is to kind of say, you have to know what time it is. You have to know where you are. An attempt was made. It was half-assed. It was maybe it was a genuine attempt that didn't end up working out. Maybe this wasn't just a dog and pony show, but either way, it didn't work out. And in the end, it's going to end up costing us quite dearly. So know what time it is. Know where you should be spending your energy. Know what you should be paying attention to. The dog and pony shows, the theatrics coming out of the administration, trying to salvage its political capital, which is completely blown at this point, are not worth your time. You know what's worth your time.
And adding on that, it really does not portend well that Bovino is out of the administration. He joins a growing list of actual patriots who made this their issue of focus that are just kind of getting sidelined or leaving the administration entirely, which really sucks to see.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I really appreciate the all the people pooping their pants over Bovino saying 100 million. It's like, guys, if anyone was in a position to know what the actual scope of the thing was, it was the guy charged with taking care of it.
Yeah.
Like we saw some Canadians weighing in on this saying, "Oh, the official numbers are 20 million." It's like, guy, like,
maybe in like 2008 that was the number. Maybe.
I mean, that like the official numbers have been the same for like 40 years.
It's and it's obvious to see. You know, you try to drive anywhere, you know, traffic is terrible. Try to get an appointment. Like I'm trying to get a appointment with a doctor and I have to wait over a year on a wait list. That's insane. Like what's going on?
Yeah, and you'd think that there wouldn't be as many since all of these people coming over are such
Oh, yeah.
high-skilled doctors.
Yeah, high skilled doctors, lawyers, engineers, you know, the world's best, honestly.
It
Best
just
of the best.
it just increases competition in every sector,
Yeah.
sector, economically, for housing, for as you said, healthcare, everything. It just makes everything fucking worse.
Don't even get me started on the housing market, man. Oh boy.
Oh, I'm about to go off. So, yeah. Oh man.
Well, you know, on the tail end of this happy slop, we've got even more happy slop. The you know, the Justice Department decides to go after the SPLC, but now the Justice Department is also going after our very own soldiers. You know, TLDR, one of the spec ops guys who made the raid on Maduro, placed a bet on Polymarket and made himself a nice little wad. But this is illegal, using classified information to, you know, benefit yourself is obviously wrong, which makes me wonder. I do seem to remember Trump and all of his friends making quite a bit of money shorting the oil markets based on what he was saying in Iran over the course of the last couple of months. Now, this isn't to say that the Trump administration, like I expect the Trump administration to arrest, you know, itself and charge itself with these things. But when you're the chief executive of the law enforcement apparatus of the United States of America, and you are arresting people for crimes that you are openly committing, what you are signaling is that your rule is illegitimate and that the rule of law only applies to the people that you want it to apply to. Now, of course, everybody who understands power and sovereignty knows that that is always the case, but the difference is that the people need to have a legitimizing myth. There needs to be a believable myth that lends the leadership credibility. And once again, we are watching the Trump administration torpedo its own credibility.
I think it's a massive indictment that the soldier felt the need to do this to make some more money. You know, I guess we don't pay our guys as much as we thought we did, or as much as they deserve.
I mean, if he's enlisted, he doesn't make that much at all. Like you can go look up the pay scales.
Yeah, and I mean, this is also like the crypto casino, right? No crying in the casino here. So we live in this day and age where we're watching as the government continues to give hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to foreigners to come in, open businesses, steal from us, blah blah blah. It's all the same thing. And you know, they could have just done nothing here, right? Like they could have done nothing and said, you know, or taken him aside and been like, listen, you're really playing, you know, you're playing a dangerous game here. If this happens again, we're gonna have to do something about it. But just to do this, to say rules for thee but not for me, like, it's in such an open and blatant way, is just, it makes one wonder if anybody in the administration at all understands how power functions.
That's true. It's just a massive indictment that, yeah, you would think soldiers, the warrior class, would be the perfect clients for patrons, you know. But I guess we just don't have any patrons on our side willing to invest. That's been a chronic issue.
Well,
Well, I
if
mean,
it did, the SPLC wouldn't need to pay people.
Oh, yes.
yes, this is very true. I mean, I guess the silver lining here is that you know, a lot of the special forces guys, I imagine, were feeling pretty good after the Maduro raid. They got a lot of laudits. They're probably feeling pretty good about the administration, but I'm sure that this is going to kind of suck the wind out of that win.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, again, this is him being charged. We'll see if he gets convicted. But if they send one of their own up the river for making some money in the same way that the chief executive is making money, something tells me that it's going to rankle the sensibilities of the special forces community. All right, there we go. More happy news. Now, there were two other things. One of them, and producer, I don't know, do we have the AI slop that that the White House was talking about? Okay, if we could grab that while we talk about Spain and the Democrats' future, or the Democrats' vision for future America, I'd appreciate that. So, once again, across the pond, this time a little further south and a lot darker, literally and figuratively. I'm sure that some people will remember a couple of weeks ago, there was this clip going around of this screeching Spanish woman screaming into the microphone about how they're going to allow in the entirety of Africa and the third world to basically punish white people and punish, you know, the right wing. And that's exactly what they did. So they announced that they would be giving blanket amnesty to anybody in Spain, and so almost immediately the NGOs were working overtime. I'm sure groups affiliated with Hayas and other things like that were working overtime to get as many Africans into Spain as possible. This is an image from Spain, as you can see, an invasion of almost entirely young males. And the full number, I believe, is 500,000. So 500,000 new Spanish Africans, mostly, who are just as Spanish as the Spanish. And if you say otherwise, you are a racist.
Yeah, this is just straight evil. I don't know what motivates such self-hatred from the government of Spain to do this to their own people. And you know, the 500,000, that's the low number. You know, it's going to be in the multiple millions when this is all said and through.
Absolutely. This is 500,000 is the starting number.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just the beginning of the deluge. They're acting out Camp of the Saints in real life. But it's state sponsored this time. So
yeah, and I mean, we're long past arguing about like what is and what isn't a conspiracy theory. The progressives of the world, excuse me, the progressives of the world at this point are just openly mocking everyone else and saying, we're going to destroy your nation. We're going to bring in as much of the global south as possible. And there's nothing you can do about it. And this is what every progressive in the West wants. They want a slurry mixture of people low IQ, low trust, can't band together, can't fight against, a tyrannical rulership. And, there's not really any discussion to be had with them at this point anymore. They're either, they're either evil or, the foot soldiers, I'm sure, are just, idiots. So this idea that, and this kind of fits into the wider picture we've been talking about tonight with the GOP being the enemy, is that the idea that we can fight these people with principled arguments and, sticking to the Constitution. And these people don't care about any of that. They don't care about your rules. They don't care about your order. They don't care about your civilization. Their purpose is to destroy. They're in the government. They are the Democrat Party. I'm sure many of them are in the Republican Party. They're there to destroy your civilization. It's not about, talking it out, and it's about power. And if we let them have power, this is what's going to, this is already here in the United States. Sure, it's not Africans. They're here too. It's Haitians. It's the Indians. It's the same kind of bio trash. And it's all for the same goal. So don't despair. Despair is a sin, but get to building. And we got one more thing I was asking the producer about. If you guys don't have anything to add on Spain's insane suicidal policy here.
I don't.
I don't really. It's just, a preview of what all these leftists want to do to every Western country, and a preview to, I guess you could say, the bad ending of what might happen to us in the near future.
Yes, indeed. Well, we have a maybe a silver lining to go out on. There's a silver lining to what's going on with this next story. The AI slop tweeted by President Trump. So, this Israeli agent, Eyal Yacobi, posts an AI generated image of 8 women that he claims are Iranians that are being executed. And of course, they're all beautiful young women, and the Iranian government wants to kill them because, Iran bad. Now, this is, anyone with eyes to see took one look at this and knew that this was just some, shitty Israeli propaganda. But somehow the president of the United States was taken in by this, and he is claiming that he has been negotiating with Iran over women that don't exist. And this is not just a Donald Trump truth here. The White House also made a tweet about this a couple of days ago. Now, why do I say that this is a silver lining? So there are 2 possibilities here. Either Trump is in on the fact that this is just black propaganda coming out of the Israelis, and that he's just trying to leverage it on the American people because he thinks we're idiots, and that there are a lot of people who still say that we're winning this war. So I guess he wouldn't be wrong on that, but that he's in on this black propaganda. Or the other option is that he was completely fooled by this, and that the White House is also being completely fooled by this. Now, there's a lot of talk going around within the right now of the 25th Amendment in getting rid of Trump, which might be for the best. And if this was in fact Donald Trump getting taken in by Israeli propaganda, I think that might help us to get that done.
I kind of take the latter explanation. He's a boomer. He probably just fell for some AI. It's very common. Mr. President, you fell for it a second time. Because I felt like an extreme amount of deja vu when you brought this topic up. I was like, wasn't it just last week or the week before we were talking about Trump and some AI picture again? Anyway,
all I hear with this is that President Trump has fulfilled his campaign promise to make anime girls real.
Okay, if that's it, then maybe we can keep him.
Yeah.
Hey, promises made, promises kept. That's all I'm saying.
So true. I don't necessarily agree that it is desirable to, 25 Amendment Trump at this juncture, but I wouldn't be sad if it happened. So,
Well, I mean, it kind of would remove the question of whether or not Vance would be a better president, because then we just get him in there, and then we can find out.
Indeed. I don't know about removing him via the 25th Amendment either. I mean, it's a little cringe to me just because, the Democrats have been, trying to get that for almost a decade now. So it's kind of like, all right, well, but at the same time, yeah, he is a very, very old man. And for those who remember, speaking back to 2017 times, the tweets used to be really fucking good. Like they were sharp and witty.
Oh,
and
yes.
now and now they're just he's not the same Trump.
He's
clearly
doing the libtard meme where he's just doing mucho texto essay length on his Truth Social. By the way, he doesn't even tweet anymore because he probably got bullied off of Twitter. Yeah, so he has Truth Social, and that's where he just has his own little echo chamber of posting whatever the hell he wants, just ranting endlessly. And like you said, Mandrill, he used to be so witty, so sharp, 4-word answers to just totally demolish his competition. It was so entertaining. And now we just see this like sad shell of a old man that is, go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, I have this take a lot on Twitter, and that's, nothing can change until the boomers pass on. And when we think of other leaders of his generational type, I mean, FDR is probably the primary one. And what did FDR do? FDR literally fucking died in office. So, I mean, I hate, and I mean, we almost saw Donald Trump die in office, but anyway, that's beside the point. And I mean, it's just, he's just senile now. It's just undeniable. Like he's not the same man. The energy isn't there. The fire isn't there. He allows himself to be distracted and diverted into these other avenues that make no sense. And he's just, it's not the same. And so what's our option? You either 25th Amendment him or you ride him out for 2.5 years and hope that he doesn't break anything.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, all right, so you let him ride out his term. In November, we switch from a GOP-controlled Congress that does absolutely nothing to a Democrat-controlled Congress that just locks everything down in impeachment. And they might, we talked about them going after this special forces guy who made a bet. And we know that Trump was doing the same thing. They could easily impeach him and get him removed from office for that. That is a crime, right? So he might even be removed through impeachment.
I think that is more likely than a 25th Amendment removal.
I think so too.
I think that would be the best possible outcomes if the Democrats do it for us.
Either way, there's been a lot of they say no news is good news, and if this show didn't exist, we'd all be happier for it. But here we are, and we didn't even get to talk about the weather machines getting turned off in the Middle East. Alas, for those who think that the United States is winning this war, if having all of our bases destroyed and then Iran coming out of its 7-year drought, miraculously coming out of a 7-year drought after all our microwave stations are gone. Yeah, I'm sure that's just a coincidence too. But let's turn on over to the super chats, the voice of the people. And these people are not retarded. Semper Credulous for $3. Here's to the Northern Prosperity Law Center. Yes, and with a salute.
Real Americans.
I don't know what the Northern Prosperity Law Center would focus on, but I imagine if it's an inversion of the SPLC, it just targets Jewish fraud.
Oh, yes. I was trying to think, what is the total inversion of SPLC? And yeah, you hit it on the nail there. You know.
Pete Budapest for $9.99. He says, "Don't judge me. I know it's wrong, but I have the biggest case of Schadenfreude over the Virginia election. I'm at the point where I enjoy seeing the GOP get its rear end handed to them." Now, I understand where the Schadenfreude comes from, Mr. Budapest. It is sad, though, because what you're feeling is Schadenfreude for the party leadership who actually wanted this to happen, whereas all the pain is being felt by the constituents who didn't.
And this is just as much my problem as it is for your problem, because these are congressional seats that just got redistricted. The state of Virginia is more or less untouched at the state level. If it was just for House seats. So, yeah, it hurts me just as much as it hurt you. So don't feel that Schadenfreude, unless you're like a masochist or something, I guess.
Main focus on the conservatives. They need to go. They all need to go. Every single one of them.
Oh no! Oh no! Somebody oh man! Some frog on Twitter is gonna make that meme with Trump getting thrown off of the balcony.
Oh no! Be like that. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. Which, all right, guys, do you know what that is a reference to? What is Red Hood?
Little Red Riding Hood?
No.
I have
you
no
think
idea.
so?
Brothers Grimm?
Probably not.
Well, I guess it'll be a mystery. Anyway, for $1.99, this is proof of the woke right, guys. Yeah, this is in reference to the SPLC funding. I'm sure that James Lindsay is going to have a field day with this. Is he still around? Does he still tweet?
Yes. Well, I mean, he does more activity on his podcast, which I listen to occasionally. He does. It's called New Discourses. If you care to listen, like I'm finding that I'm taking the role of James Lindsay tracker. I have to watch James Lindsay as Dave the Distributist continues to watch BreadTube. So I think I found a readily available niche to speak about.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, please do let us know when he has more grand conspiracies.
Oh, he's just doing deep dives into Nazi ideology right now. It's great.
Oh, maybe he's turned over and he just doesn't know it yet.
No, he's a total shill for Israel now. It's
awesome. Good for him. So big time, 81.47 for $5 for the recap stream of Unite the Right. Yeah,
I do think that'll be a great idea. And yeah, we could do like a "Where Are They Now" style breakdown of all the leaders and organizations that were present that day, as well as the recap of the events itself.
That would be a very interesting stream. We'd have to do a little research for it, but we'll have to make a set for that.
Mm-hmm. Have to raise Sam Bash from his slumber for that one.
Yeah. Melon for $5. Good to see you in the chat, sir, always. Took me 2 years to figure out what Mr. Wallbanger is named after.
Yes, well, I am named after an alcoholic beverage quite similar to, just a vodka orange juice and then some Italian Giano splashed in there. Yeah. Harvey Wallbanger. Look it up.
Well, I'm going to have to drink one in your honor at some point.
Oh, shit, that actually looks really good. Yeah, it's vodka, orange juice, and Galliano. What even is Galliano? I've never heard of that.
It's an Italian liqueur. It's just a little sweetness.
I see. Uh-huh.
All right. Pete Budapest for $4.99. SPLC money is definitely still flowing. Richard Spencer is eating extremely well these days. Yeah, I mean, there's another character that is pretty much off the radar. I wonder who is funding that guy, how he lives since he became an untouchable. But there's always money flowing to ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
The biggest lie of growing up is when you're told that crime doesn't pay.
So true.
All right, we got Pete Budapest again for $9.99. To quote Ann Coulter, Trump's post-Charlottesville presser, find people on both sides, was arguably the best of his presidency, and that's why the system never stopped lying about it. Yeah, it was. It was a very honest recap of what was going on, and he tried to stay focused on what Unite the Right was. It was about the statues being taken down. It was about our heritage being destroyed, and the media tore them apart for it.
Yeah, to just briefly circle back on that, back in 2017, I believe it was Alex Jones, the John Birch Society, and a couple others were calling out that there were paid agent provocateurs at Unite the Right. And, turns out they were right. So put another bill in the jar if Alex Jones was right again, I guess.
Yeah, what another strange coincidence.
That's that tip jar is overflowing, Harvey. That's how he's got to pay his multi-billion-dollar fines from the lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean that's another
InfoWars.
That's another horrendous miscarriage of justice.
So true.
But Sandy Hook is not something worth getting into at this time.
Nope.
Son of Haster for $5. Salute to you, sir. Gettysburg this weekend was fantastic. Looking forward to many more chapter events coming up. Great to see you, Harvey.
It was good.
Real Americans.
Mr. Son of Hastor, that is president of the new Ivy League chapter. I'm the president of the Vetus Dominion chapter of Virginia. We met each other halfway in Pennsylvania last weekend for our annual Gettysburg Death March, hosted by Paul Fahrenheit. And the Pennsylvania chapters. It was a huge, smashing success. Dozens of us there. We even had fathers bringing their sons on the hike.
That's wonderful. That's such a great site. That's a wonderful Heritage America site. I've been there at least once or twice.
Yeah, it was my third time going, and it's always just such a great time. We index very highly on historically minded people, so we were all telling each other stories of the events of that day, whose ancestors were there, what they did, etc. It's really cool stuff. If you're interested in doing that kind of stuff, join the OGC. We got all kinds of events happening all the time now, so get involved.
It do be like that. Pete Budapest back again, $4.99. Spanberger always sticking that nose where it don't belong. Yeah, So many have pointed out that she isn't actually a member of the tribe, but she married her.
She married into one. Yeah.
So I've never seen
Does
pictures
your nose
of her.
grow if you marry a Jew?
Right. So I've never seen pictures of her when she was young, and I wonder if she didn't grow into that nose after she got married.
Well, yeah. In addition, she's also a former CIA agent, and you know how it is. You never truly leave the intelligence community. So you just add that to the list of her amazing portfolio,
An amazing profile for an amazing portfolio.
Yeah.
Vindicator Man for $20. Good evening, gentlemen. I was there back in 2017 and can tell you a tale. There was an after party that night as well. There always is. Plenty strange, for that one chopper was hovering low over the crowd for hours. Godspeed. I'd be interested to hear that. I'm sure we'll run into each other in our travels at some point, Vindicator Man. So keep in mind, for that moment that I said this.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to hear your perspective of the events of that day.
All right. Aramaic Discourse for $5 is giving me this tongue twister. Topo Resinwanino of the Connecticut Resinwaninos, of course, came over from England. Very, very British name. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe that's amazing. Pete Budapest back yet again for another $4.99. Yeah, I hate to be a broken record, but I do not believe the U.S. population is only 340 million. Sorry, we have eyes. Yeah, I mean, like Harvey was saying, the traffic is way worse than when I was younger. Like, I'm old enough to say that I was driving, 20 years ago, and the traffic now is nothing like it was. It's way worse than what it was then. And I see things all over the road that can only be accounted for by a massive influx of non-white people that I didn't see even 5 years ago. So yeah, it's pretty apparent. Don Browning, our favorite Aussie, for $20 Australian, sends us a super sticker of an anthropomorphic Shiba Inu dressed as a samurai hugging a trophy. Well, thank you, Don, as always, very apropos.
I wonder what she meant by that.
Melon for another $5. Yes, regarding Gettysburg, this is one of the founding myths that successfully contested Holocaust during the mass loss of faith during the 2010s. We don't have very many of those. It was always the high watermark of BLM. Couldn't remove mountains.
The monuments.
Monuments.
Yes. There are several glorious Confederate monuments present on the battlefield memorial at Gettysburg itself. In particular, the Virginia monument with a massive statue of Lee on his horse. I believe it's Traveler. I could be wrong. And then also the North Carolina monument has a massive action pose of, soldiers from North Carolina charging the enemy. And then obviously, the Union monuments are cool as well. Very impressive stuff. And they do a good job keeping it pristine and well maintained. And yeah, I don't think there have been any activists trying to threaten to remove those ones, because I think that that time is more or less past us. I would hope so anyway.
If they tried, it would be incredible. Like, the reaction that it would draw would be just way worse than just one of these isolated monuments.
Yeah,
that's the battlefield itself is sacred.
That's right.
Yes, the moment's passed for now. We must ever be vigilant, as the Browns don't care about our history. So, and Seasider for $10 sends us a salute to round out the evening. A salute to you, sir.
Real Americans.
All right. It was a fast, slop-filled evening. Let's go around the horn, get some shilling out of the way. Mandrill, what you got?
My Substack. Go check it out. I got free stuff out from behind the paywall.
Awesome.
That's it.
Mr. Wallbanger.
Yeah. So I'm the president of the Vetus Dominium Club, one of 3 Virginia chapters in the Old Glory Club. We represent the central and southeastern sections of Virginia. If you're in the western part of the state, reach out to the Stonewall Society. If you're in the northern part of the state, reach out to the Bluestone Heritage League. If you were elsewhere in the country, go to theoldgloryclub.com and view the map section, find the chapter in your area, and apply to join today. The best time to get organized was yesterday. The second best time is now. So apply now.
Well, that's a resounding call to action. Make sure to check out American Spirits every Monday is it at 8 or 9, Mandrill?
Shoot, it depends on which time zone.
Eastern. Everything's in Eastern.
Why? Gosh, yeah. I suppose it's at 9 Eastern. Yeah.
Okay, 9 Eastern, and the chapter house every Wednesday at 9 Eastern as well. To get to watch the shows that actually matter. That isn't just us hanging out and talking about the slop of the day. I'm NotMeNotYou. Thank you for joining us for this week's Pony Express. We will see you next week. Good night.
When I pass on my good genes to my sons, they're going to join the Old Glory Club.